everyone. If you're watching this, awesome. This video has been, a long time coming. My life has just been like kind of hectic right now, transitioning into a new job. A lot of excuses, But now I'm finally going to get into the video that a lot of people on TikTok have been asking. So, one of the questions that I get a lot on videos of Ryan and I is, have Ryan and I always been close? And the answer is no. Honestly, not. We really have not been close. And before I really get into it, I just want to preface this video by saying that some of the topics that I'm going to be talking about are going to be really difficult. They're going to be really emotional. I'm going to try my hardest to be as real, as raw, authentic as humanly possible with this video, because I feel like that is needed for this specific topic. And my overall goal of this video is to help parents understand, to help kids who have siblings with disabilities understand, and maybe hopefully give them a sense of peace that what they're going through, they're not alone, that I dealt with it. Sorry, my watch told me to stand up. I hate when it does that. So what they're going through, they're not alone, because I felt alone. And also, if you see me looking down a lot, it's because I wrote down a bunch of stuff so I wouldn't get off track and off focus, because I have ADHD. So I tend to just kind of go on tangents every once in a while, and I get distracted a lot, 99% of the time. I'm literally going to start at the beginning. I am going to start from the beginning, tell stories, behind the scenes, all of it. So again, if you see me looking down a lot, it's because I wrote down a lot of stuff just to kind of keep me on track, because I tried to do this freestyle like last week and it did not work out too well. Anyway, I might get emotional at some points because thinking about it makes me emotional, but a lot of the stuff is, I'm going to try to be I don't want to leave anything out. Like, I want to be raw and authentic. So let's get right into it. So the overall question is, and the whole point of why I'm making this video, a lot of people on TikTok ask, have you and Ryan always been this close? And the short answer is no, we have not always been this close. And I'm going to tell y'all why. When Ryan and I were kids, the first thing that I wrote down here, I just thought I'd, just go right on into it. The first thing that I wrote down is not feeling seen or understood. And, when I was a kid, I truly did not feel seen or understood. And you're probably going to ask, well, how? Give us some examples. This was really before I understood autism as a whole and how it really truly affects Ryan specifically. I didn't think about all of that stuff, because when you're a kid, you're selfish, and you can't help but be selfish, because you're trying to think of yourself. You're putting yourself first. And one of the phrases that kids always love to say is, well, that's not fair. Well, that's not fair. Why me? That's not fair. I feel like I should get that tattooed on my forearm. Like, that's not fair, because, I used to say that a lot when I was a kid, because, if I wanted to go try a new restaurant, or if I wanted to go do something and it was too loud, there were too many people, if it was overstimulating for Ryan, we wouldn't do it. And it took me a long time to understand why. He doesn't like large crowds if he's not anticipating it, because he goes to sporting events and he likes monster trucks. So like Brittany, those are loud. Like, how can he handle that but not going to a new restaurant? It's like, because he's anticipating it, because he has a warning beforehand. If we go to a restaurant, or if we go somewhere where something unexpected could happen, where he could have a meltdown, then, because his meltdowns used to be bad when we were kids. So if he would go somewhere and something would happen unexpected, it's like my family and I, we would have to be on high alert. We would have to be like, holy crap, like, we got to make sure that Ryan's okay. We're just on guard 24/7. It was always, when I was a kid, I always felt like, oh, it's always what Ryan wants to do. It's never what I want to do. We would always have to cater to Ryan's needs. Like, oh, we can't go to this place because Ryan can't handle it, or we can't go here, or we can't do this because it's overstimulating for Ryan. And it got to the point where I just felt so insignificant. I really did. And, and I also wrote down it wasn't anyone's fault, because inevitably it wasn't anybody's fault. It was, and I don't want to blame myself either. Oh, it's my fault because, I didn't understand and blah, blah, blah. Like, I was a kid. I wasn't, I shouldn't be expected to understand something so complex and so elaborate. So it wasn't anyone's fault, including my own. It wasn't. But however, it is my responsibility to learn from this and to grow and to continue to be patient and everything, but we'll get into that later. And I also wrote it, I felt like, again, I wanted to reiterate, I felt like it was never about me. I never felt like it was never about me. And I've said a story about this on TikTok before. When we were kids and Ryan and I used to participate in Vacation Bible School at our church when we were growing up. And one time I had a solo. I mean, I can't sing worth anything, but I thought I killed it. I'm a kid. I'm like third, fourth grade. I'm a kid on stage singing in front of the whole congregation, like, killing it, praise Jesus, all that good stuff. But then I ran up to my parents, and my mom and dad were like, y'all did so great. You did so amazing. Brittany, you did amazing, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, okay, awesome. And then every person that came up to us afterwards just had raving things to say about Ryan. Ryan did so great. Ryan did amazing. I can't believe how great Ryan did. Yada, yada, yada. And I just, like, at that point, every compliment that Ryan got, I just felt smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And my mom did everything that she possibly could to make me feel important in her own way. So it's not her fault. It's not my dad's fault. It's not anybody's fault. But I just felt so insignificant, and it was traumatizing almost. And it got to the point where it just resulted in anger. Like, I had all of these feelings, and I never understood why I was having these feelings. And then it just eventually turned into anger, and I hated that I felt that way. I really truly hated that I felt that way. Like, now, thinking now about how I would handle certain situations, like, it just makes me so mad at myself. I can't go back in the past and change past actions and change things that I've said and change things that I've done. I can't do that. And I really can't sit here and resonate in it and just marinate in it and just be like, ugh. I just gotta move on. Moving on to our adolescent, teenage years. It got to the point where I was embarrassed to be seen with him. I really was. The stares that we would get, the little whispers that we would get whenever he would start stimming. His version of stimming is he would never really, because when you think of somebody with a disability, you think of the stereotypical rocking back and forth and flapping hands and all that good stuff. But Ryan never did any of that. He would run. He would run and he would make noises, and he would talk to himself, things of that nature. It got to the point where when he would do that in public, I would be so embarrassed and I would just want to go home, because I would just I would observe everyone, and I would see them all staring, and I would see them all talking, and I would just be like, I did not want to be seen with him, and I was ashamed to be around him, and I was ashamed that he was around. Just, again, thinking about this stuff, and how I used to feel, it just, it kills me inside. I will never forget another story. Ryan and I were in Subway once, and there was a song that came on, and Ryan loves music. That's his thing. He loves music. He loves to sing. He loves to dance. He loves anything and everything about music. And we were in Subway, and I think it was a Maroon 5 song. This was so long ago. I think it was a Maroon 5 song. I honestly can't remember. But he started singing and dancing in the middle of Subway, and people were staring. And in that moment, I was just so embarrassed. I really was. Instead of just embracing who he is and embracing his personality and the fact that he loves music, and instead of letting him express himself, I just remember telling him to stop multiple times. And I got so angry, and I was like, Ryan, you have got to stop in the middle of the subway. If anything, I was causing more of a scene than Ryan was. And I just remember going back to the car and just being furious and being like, because my mom was waiting in the car. I just remember going back to the car and being furious and being like, Ryan is so embarrassing. This is why I never like going anywhere with him. He was dancing in the middle of the subway. I was making a mountain out of a molehill. And it got to the point where I just resented him in general. I did not want to be around him ever. I was so mean to him. I was so angry and I was so mean to him. And I'm not a mean person. I'm really not. But I didn't understand. And I was just so angry. And I was like, I was having like inner turmoil because I was like, this is my brother. Like, I love him. But I was so ashamed and I was so embarrassed. And I'm just thinking about how I used to handle these situations. And I was just so mean to him, and it still kills me to this day. You know, sometimes I lose my patience still. I'm human. I can't help it. I lose my patience. I know now, but I'll get into now later. Like, it was borderline hatred. Like, I didn't want him around me. I didn't want him touching me. I didn't want him breathing on me. I didn't, like, if he got too close to me, I'd tell him to go away. It was so bad. And I will never forget my mom telling me one day, Ryan saying, why is Brittany so mean to me? That killed me. That truly, truly killed me when my mom told me that. So I was having an internal crisis because I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to handle it. There would just be some moments where I would just break down in tears because I did not know how to relate to him. I didn't know how to talk to him because his interests are completely different than mine. It was so hard. It really was. And it still is. I'm not gonna lie. It still is really, really hard. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person. Yeah, so that was our teenage years. Our teenage years were not easy. I was not nice to him. I really wasn't. But I felt like it was not his fault. It was not his fault in the slightest. It was all on me. I had a lot going on in my head, but that's not an excuse. Moving on to the present, or adulthood, as I wrote down. I did a lot of praying. I did a lot of soul searching. I did a lot of crying myself to sleep, trying to think of ways to be a better sister, be a better person, trying to figure out how I can relate to him more and how I can just be, overall a better sister to him, because I like, at that point, I felt like I was just like the worst person alive, especially to him. I started going to therapy, and I felt like I learned a lot about myself in therapy. I feel like because of my therapist, I've grown a lot as a person, and I'm giving a lot of credit to myself too, because a therapist can only help you so much and point you and lead you into the right direction. But and my mom helped too, 100%. My mom tried to put things in perspective, and so I can't give all the credit to my therapist. I have to give my credit to my mom too, my therapist. You know, they've influenced me to be a better person. Then the pandemic hit, and I was stuck in the house. All of my jobs shut down, all of my extracurriculars shut down, just like everybody else's in the world. And then Ryan and I made our first TikTok video. It was originally on Snapchat first, and my friend Tori, actually, she swiped up on my story and said, you should post this on TikTok. I guarantee you it'll go viral. And I was like, no. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I don't want people to think that I'm using him for his disability or exploiting him. or anything like that. And she was like, Brittany, like, I guarantee you it'll go viral. It's hilarious. And everybody was like swiping up saying, oh my God, this is so funny. This is so funny. Y'all are so funny, blah, blah, blah. It was the one with me with the face mask over a year ago. Wow. So I said, you know what? Why not? Because I saw a video, I cannot remember her name. I saw a video of this girl where she said, asking my brother with autism how I look. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna hop on that trend. I'm gonna hop on that. I was like, because obviously I have a brother with autism. So I posted it, and overnight I got 4 million views. And I was like, this is unreal. Like, I never thought that that would happen ever. And then from there, Ryan and I started making more videos together. And then after seeing how it made him happy and it made him smile, and that just warmed my heart, overwhelmingly warmed my heart. I just remember actually really listening to him and understanding him. And I did a lot. I prayed so much just for patience, because I am probably the most impatient person on the face of the planet. And that was one of the main reasons why Ryan and I have never got along, is because I was never patient with him, ever. And if you have a child with a disability, or if you have a sibling with a disability, or if you have a friend with a disability, you have to have so much patience. And I think that was my number one issue, is I never had any patience when it came to how to handle every situation that was thrown my way. After praying for patience, and after really developing more patience over time, and actually listening to him, listening to his interests, and even if I have no idea what he's talking about, especially when it comes to sports, especially when I have absolutely no idea what he's talking about, I listen to him, and I feel like it makes him feel important because I'm listening to him. I'm engaging and I'm interested. And even if I have no idea what he's talking about, because 99% of the time, I have no idea what he's talking about. It's sports. I don't watch sports. I feel like TikTok has tremendously improved our relationship. 100%. I love being around him. I am blessed to be his sister. I am so truly blessed that he is in my life. If Ryan was not in my life, I truly do not know what I would do. I don't know where I'm like, I couldn't imagine my life right now without him. I really couldn't. Because, you know, when I was a kid, I used to think all the time, I always wondered what my life would be like if I had a quote unquote normal sibling. I always thought of how my life would turn out if Ryan was never diagnosed with autism. In my head, I was thinking, would my parents still be together? Not saying that his disability had anything to do with my parents' separation. That's a whole nother story, and that's personal, that I will never get into because it's none of y'all's business. But in my head, I thought, would my parents still be together? Like, would he still be at home? You know, would he be married? But at the same time, I wouldn't be the person I am today. And my life wouldn't be where I am without Ryan in it. Ryan has changed my life. He has made me a better person. He lights up every single room that he walks into. And I would take a bullet for him. I would die for him. He's my best friend. We still get on each other's nerves. He still gets under my skin. Like tonight at dinner, like I told him, I was like, I just want to. But that's normal. That's how siblings work. Those are sibling dynamics. That's how it all works. So I'm just so unbelievably blessed to have a platform to share my personal experiences, to be raw, to be authentic, to be true, just so hopefully another person can feel a sense of peace and say, oh, I can't believe I'm not the only one that feels this way. Or I felt so bad that I used to feel this way, but I'm so glad that you're going through it too. It's been a bumpy freaking road, man. It's been so bumpy. But at the same time, without the bumpy road, I wouldn't be here. Ryan and I wouldn't be making TikTok videos for all of you. Or YouTube videos for all of you. That's it. That's really all that I could think of. But feel free to leave a comment if there's another topic that you can possibly think of. If I could do a Q&A, I can write down a lot of Q&As and answer as many questions as I possibly can about this video, about Ryan, about me, about anything really, because I really do want to start posting on YouTube more, and I have a lot more free time now, so I will. But yeah, so that's my story. That's the relationship that's the bumpy road that Ryan and I have had together. And I hope you enjoy. Thanks.